Hello, N4H&H here with an unboxing video. I just received that from an eBay company called Gendia, and I ordered this because one of my viewers, AJ2I, showed this in operation on his YouTube channel. Thank you for that. It is should be a QRM Eliminator. So I've already cut the package so I can get the box out. Let's see if we can check this thing out here. Okay, there we go. Well, I see a bag with an antenna. Since this is a QRM Eliminator, and if you're not familiar with what that is, MFJ has one, and I have theirs as well. It's the model number MFJ-1026. These devices use a concept of phase cancellation to knock down noise. So they generally do come with a little telescopic antenna that you can hook up. Honestly, these are about useless unless the offending noise is coming from maybe your computer or something in the house. But to knock down atmospherics, power line noise, things like that, you need to hook these up to an outside antenna that can, receive the same noise that your main antenna is receiving. Looks like we've got some adapters here for PL259 to whatever. I don't know what that is. It may be SMA. Not sure. And then here's a power cable and a RCA cable. Oh, that's part of the power cable, I think, maybe. I don't know. Let me see. Well, let's see. Let's take a look. Because usually these do have on the back of them a push-to-talk RCA jack. Wow. I guess maybe that's what they intend this for. Whatever. But there's the power cable, and it needs to hook up to 12 volts, I'm assuming. And they did put a choke on it. All right, so there's the cabling. But I don't see any directions in the box. No instructions. So here's the device. QRM Eliminator. Power button, phase control, gain 1, gain 2. That's, usually that's for your antennas. One is your main antenna, the other one's the noise receive antenna. And in a nutshell, the way these work is you rotate the phase knob. These knobs are not even installed correctly. That's all the way counterclockwise for each knob. Look at that. None of them are returning to 0. This one's at 3.5. This one's at 8. The middle one's at 8, and then the last one's at 6. I doubt this was even checked for function before it was shipped. Looks like they just threw the knobs on there, didn't even bother to make sure they were zeroed. That's disappointing. That really is. Oh, man, not too impressed so far. On the back, it's a nice enclosure, metal. It looks nice. The back, you've got your SO239, so see main antenna, auxiliary antenna. That'll be the one you're going to want to hook up to receive the noise. And it could be another antenna just like the one you're using for main. In my case, it'll be another dipole. And then TRX, that'll go to your radio. So this will be the antenna your radio will actually transmit through. This will be one it'll just be receiving from, and then this goes to the radio itself. There's the power connection, and then a PTT line, PTT, push to talk. That will require an RCA jack, and I guess they expected you to wire that to something on the other end. It sure is short, though. The back of your radio usually has a push-to-talk RCA jack. You can use it to key up an amplifier. I may use my high-O foot switch to do that. But anyway, the idea here is when you're transmitting, you don't want this thing receiving on the, especially, this noise antenna. You don't want it receiving while you're transmitting. It can damage the device. Okay, that's what it looks like. And, give you an idea how big it is. There's my hand. But yeah, this is, so there's the power button. This is just disappointing here, because if they had QC tested this, they would have noticed these knobs were not installed right. So I'm really disappointed in that, Jindia, Jindia. The workmanship is just not up to par on that part. So we'll see how it functions. I'll get it hooked up here in a little bit, and I'll check it out and see if it functions, and I'll add that to this video. Okay, price shipped to me was a little over $52. So the price was right compared to the MFJ 1026, which is now selling for, I think, around $220. I got mine years ago for $180. And it works. It really does work, but it's been problematic over the years. Anytime you run an amplifier, it can blow the light bulb they use inside as a fuse. And you have to order that from MFJ. It's a particular type light bulb that's used as an RF fuse, so you have to take the cover off and solder a new bulb in there. You know, I did try some mods to it where you know, installing a relay to ground out during transmit to put everything, all the antennas to ground, and that didn't, you know, anytime I run much 700 watts or more, it just would blow that bulb, and even a couple of times it blew a transistor in there. So I just got tired of messing with it, and for $50 I thought I'd give this a whirl. And when I looked at the video on AJ2I's YouTube channel, I mean, it clearly seems to work, or at least his does. We'll see what happens with this one that obviously did not go through a QC check. Okay, I'll be back with you in a few when I have it hooked up. Okay, N4H&H here, and I've got the QRM Eliminator wired up. I've got a RCA plug going to the transmit out, the transmit ground on my Yaesu FTDX 5000. I'm going to just try it that way first before I attempt to use my foot switch to do it, but I think it'll be the same with my foot switch. And that will save using the relay inside the radio. I try not to use the relays inside of radios if possible, because, well, this radio now, as of earlier this year, is discontinued. When you wear the relays out, it may be a difficult task to find a replacement. That's been the case for me in the past with one of my other radios. So I try not to use those relays. But hey, for a test, I will. And then once I prove the concept, I guess I will switch over and use the foot switch. So let's turn this thing on. See what happens. Let me turn the volume up. So I've got a QSO in there. They're at about S8 there. On the Orion here. So I'm hearing more noise when it's on. But, hey, let's figure our way around this. So on the other models I've used, for example, the MFJ 1026, you have a gain knob for the main antenna and a gain knob for the receive antenna for the noise. Well, that's interesting. They're both off, and I'm hearing. That's kind of odd. Main antenna. Oh. This seems to be wired backwards. Look at that. I turned this one, so I've got the main antenna all the way down to the counterclockwise, but on the gain 2, which is the noise antenna, I proved that by unplugging a minute ago before I turned on the camera. So gain 2 is the noise antenna, which I'm using my off-center fed dipole, and my main antenna I'm using right now is my ZS6BKW from ni4l.com. So it seems that this knob works backwards. It may have been wired backwards. Like I said, they didn't even put the knobs aren't even, look at this, they're not even pointing correctly. Let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, you just pop them off, rotate counterclockwise. See if I can get that lined up. All right, that one's done. Yeah, so that's kind of odd. The middle knob, the one for the noise antenna, works backwards. Now that's just how it was wired, probably. Kind of strange. And the phase knob pointing at 3.5. Oh, there we go. Now, how hard is that for a QC? That tells me this thing was not QC checked. Okay, so main antenna maxed out. Let me turn off the noise antenna. Okay, so there's the main antenna. But my noise antenna, let me turn this one off. And again, this is backwards. My noise antenna is indeed picking up some grind, probably power line noise. So the way these normally work, the idea is to try to match the signal between the two antennas. So you don't necessarily have to try to go for full deflection here, just enough. All right, now I'm going to turn the main antenna in there. It was all mixed up. And anyway, nobody wanted the ugly duckling. And you want to try to make the S meter read about the same with both antennas engaged. Then turn the phase knob. Okay, fine. Well, at the end of the swap, I came by it. Yeah, sorry you didn't sell it, but it's wrong. I don't want to take it home. Can you work with it for $500? Okay, well, it looks like on this one with the phase knob down, it's actually doing its thing. So maybe start halfway and adjust the antenna gain. Yeah, you got to figure it out. No instructions. Anyway, it's got a new faceplate for it, a new cabinet for it, and now that's interesting. Look at that. So if you turn the phase knob all the way to the right, then this knob acts like you expect it would. Okay, again, working this thing without directions, it is acting a little different than the MFJ 1026 does. It seems to... Oh, look at that. With it all the way to the right over here, it's affecting the gain of the main antenna. Okay, so let's try it in the middle. The idea is once you get the two antennas receiving at about the same number of S units, then you turn the phase and try to cancel out the noise. There's that Cuban jamming. Okay, let's turn it off and see what happens. Ooh, looks like it produces a pretty big pulse of noise there when you turn it on and off. I mean, just like with other noise reduction techniques that I've taught, you don't really worry about the S meter. You just want to get the best signal to noise ratio. I just turned off the digital noise reduction in the 5000, and let's see what this thing can do without any help from it. You can definitely see by the S meter when I'm finding the sweet spot for phase cancellation. And then once you find that, still fine-tune the antennas. To see if you can improve on that. So let me try something different. Turn that off. I'm going to go to a completely different band. I'll go to 20 meters. turn it on.
Calling QQ, and I'm trying to see if I can get some guys to point up that way, over.
But the truth is, I'm not getting really any noise even without it. I'm not asking for power line noise, but I'm even running amp 1. It's just pretty quiet today. So I'm going to switch over to my doublet. It usually does pick up the noise. ZS6 BKW doublet. I'm hearing a little grind in there. Okay, so I think I figured out what they're doing. On the MFJ version, you have a switch to invert the phase. And on this one, as you adjust the phase, you invert what direction you go with the gain too. So remember, if it's in all the way counterclockwise, the noise antenna, let me turn the main antenna off. The noise antenna works the gain structures backwards. If you turn it all the way clockwise, then the gain structure is the other way. So based upon that, it seems like the best thing to do is start with the phase at 5. And it looks like I'm just going to run my main antenna all the way. Then bring the noise receiving antenna up until you can listen to it and you'll hear the noise. I'm finding a null. And then fine tune with the phase null. Yeah, that seems to be the best way to use it. Start with the phase at middle, turn the main antenna wide open, and then adjust the noise receive antenna, the knob in the middle, until you hear the null and the noise, and then fine tune here. So, I'm just learning this thing intuitively because, like I said, I'm used to the MFJ 1026 that does a similar function. My hopes are that this one is a better build quality than the MFJ. The MFJ has been problematic, and I've had to repair it too many times, so I've abandoned it. And to be quite honest, I bought this mainly so I could show it to my viewers because the radio has such great noise immunity techniques in it that I can usually deal with noise anyway. But this is, it's nice to have this option. I think I shot a video recently even showing how I could deal with the Cuban jamming signal using just the features in the 5000. But this certainly does seem to help. I mean, listen to that guy who's very weak there. Here he is without the QRM Eliminator. So we got S3 noise.
Are you still there, Jim?
So back, midpoint. Okay, so forget the S meter, he's S0, but listen to him without any help when he comes back. Thank you, Auto Notch. So in conjunction with the digital noise reduction in the 5000, I'm pulling this guy right out of the noise floor because the inherent noise is S3.
Even if you don't get around too well, you can still get in here and fire up the ridge.
Steve, are you retired over?
Yeah, definitely listen to him. Okay, I'm going to insert this into my video about the QRM Eliminator. 40 meter QSO here. I'm not helping it with the radio right now other than the fact that IPO is turned on. IPO 1.
That sounds fine there. Just go ahead and talk on that.
Okay, just turned on the QRM Eliminator.
I'm not hearing it. I have not heard it since you switched microphones, but it can't be the microphone.
And just engage digital noise reduction on the 5000. It's only at algorithm 1 out of 15. So it's the least aggressive. Okay, forget the S meter, but listen to him. There's no QRM Eliminator.
The water flow under 53. Oh, that'll buy it. And right now, I can hear you. I probably 2.5 that.
Okay, just fine tuning. Here we go without it.
I don't know whether it's RF or what it is, Bill. No, I've never heard that before.
We got storms in the area from that Fred, the tropical storm. So you're hearing some of those lightning crashes. It's very dark out. QRM Eliminator. It's definitely clearing it up, and in conjunction with the digital noise reduction, even just set on algorithm 1, it's pretty amazing. No digital noise reduction. And no QRM Eliminator.
It's a little awkward, but I'm used to it. And I don't see a big mess on the screen right now. I'm talking with Mike.
So QRM Eliminator, digital noise reduction. The digital noise reduction is clearly incredible. But, you know, a little bit of help from this guy, phasing out the noise. Okay, turning off digital noise reduction. And QRM Eliminator off.
But I'll just stay on the hand mic for now. Bill, is there a long cord on that boot mic? That maybe, well, of course, you know, with the boot mic, you don't move the cord around very much.
Much more pleasant to listen to, right? I just thought I'd throw that in while I'm working with this device, learning my way around it. Okay, so here we are on 75 meters, 80 meter band. And we've got some stations out there kind of in the noise. I do have IPO 1 and 6 dB of attenuation. So let me show you what it would be like without that.
How about those feminine products? How about that stuff?
Okay, so attacking my noise from the front end, going to IPO 1. Attenuation. I don't have digital noise reduction engaged yet. I'm just going to go to the QRM Eliminator. So fine tuning. Just tune it for the null and the noise. Okay, I'm going to turn on digital noise reduction. I'll wait till he talks.
Betty got a book somewhere today. Somebody give it to her.
That's algorithm 1 out of 15.
Trivia.
No digital noise reduction. Digital noise reduction at 1. You're hearing the crashes from lightning that's not in the area yet, but approaching. Okay, here is no digital noise reduction.
Yeah, okay.
And no QRM Eliminator.
That's been a long time ago. One of the guys I used to work with, he went down there and
Digital noise reduction, QRM Eliminator. Now, I'll leave digital noise reduction on at 1 and turn off the QRM Eliminator. Now that's digital noise reduction at algorithm 3. Algorithm 5. Okay, back to algorithm 3. Less aggressive. And QRM Eliminator.
Hey, I got stuff down in Georgia one time. There's in a little tube.
See, it doesn't matter that the S meter is so low now. Listen how clear they are. Turn all this off. No digital noise reduction. QRM Eliminator. And digital noise reduction. Okay, there's an example on the low bands. Well, that should give you a lot to go on there. So we unboxed the QRM Eliminator from Jindia on eBay. Shipped to my door, $52 and some change. Okay, so less than a fourth the price of an MFJ 1026. The build quality from external standpoint looks good. We just had the issues with the knobs there. I was a little disappointed in that. And the lack of instructions. I mean, that's a big problem too. So I had to kind of work my way through it from intuition based upon my experience with the MFJ 1026. But it does seem to be doing its job. If I had some power line buzz, some significant power line buzz, I mean, I've had it in the past where the S meter was up here, 15 over 9 power line buzz, and the MFJ could knock it down to about S4, S5. This seems to be doing the same job. If I get an opportunity, if next time power line noise gets pretty bad, I'll put this thing through the paces for knocking down power line noise. But, in theory, it'll take down atmospherics as well. Well, not in theory, you saw me do it. Just remember, the idea is we're not worried about the signal reading on the S meter. We're worried about the signal to noise ratio. I'm hearing this guy better at S0 than I am at S3 from a standpoint of the amount of noise that is accompanying his audio. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful and informative to you, and thank you to AJ2i for turning me on to this device. Other than the knob situation and no instructions, it seems like it's going to be okay. I'll probably hook it up next with my foot pedal, like I mentioned, to try the transmit test. Okay, so I have my Heil foot switch now connected to the push-to-talk line on the QRM Eliminator. So this is the red cable that comes off the Heil FS2 switch, which I don't need with the radio anymore because I've got the cable to connect between the 5000 and the Elecraft KPA 1500. It's the cable from Elecraft that's set up for the FTDX 5000 MP or the FTDX 10. I have another cable for it from Elecraft, slightly different, but they both allow me to operate the amplifier, band changes, and transmit without any moving parts. So that left my foot switch cable available. And so I'm using it to trigger the transmit mode of the QRM Eliminator. So I'm going to turn the volume down and let you listen. There is no red LED to let you know that it's transmitting like there is on the MFJ 1026. But you can hear a relay click in. Let me be really quiet and let you see if you can hear this. I'm going to go to a dummy load. Hopefully you can hear that relay clicking. So that's my indication that it is putting it into transmit mode, which of course the idea there is to ground the antenna so you don't damage the circuitry in the QRM Eliminator. So presumably that is working. I guess my suggestion would be to the manufacturer of this, whomever it is, because you can buy these from various different sources and they all look almost the same except for the knobs and a little bit different switch here. But I would suggest that they make this turn red. Put an LED in there that turns red when it transmits, because the only way I can tell it's transmitting is hearing the little relay inside of here clicking. Okay, but it does seemingly work and put this unit into the mode for transmit, grounding those antenna inputs. Okay, well, hey, thanks again for watching, and thank you Patreons for helping me keep the channel going. I do appreciate you so much, and wish others would join as a Patreon to help me offset the cost of doing this. It gets to be expensive, and going out and buying a device like this, because I get a lot of messages from some of you who are dealing with horrendous noise, and sometimes the radios just can't take out every type of noise. They just can't. One radio might do better with one type of noise, and the next radio can't deal with that noise, but the next radio can deal with the kind of noise the first radio couldn't. That's just the way it is. So this is just another tool in the arsenal to deal with noise that is taking away your enjoyment of amateur radio. So again, I want to thank the Patreons who helped me do this, and if any of you would like to help keep the channel going through the Patreon program, please go to patreon.com/N4HNH. Patreon, patreon.com/N4HNH. And hey, please like and subscribe. That helps as well. Does some things with the YouTube algorithms and helps get us more exposure. The more we grow the channel, hopefully the more your comments will be viewed by manufacturers, and they'll read what you think about their product and maybe start making some adjustments in the future to produce things that are more in line with what we would like to see. And of course, if you do become a subscriber, click the bell and you'll be notified when I upload the next video. All right, hey, thanks for watching, and 73 from N4HNH.